50-3. He's 50-3. 70% completion, 4-year starter, 14,000 yards. Somebody, if not in the third round, I get it. Tomorrow, you want a guy that you want on your team? Kellen Moore, he wins. What else do you want? All right, I know. Now you're gonna. He can't. Russell Wilson.
I'm not gonna break up that moment, Boomer. That was a good moment.
Pick him. Mel looking at me like I'm you now. I become you after all these years. Just a public service announcement. At any rate, where were we before I got derailed? Dallas picked Tyrone from Boise State. You see, that's why I got on that tangent. Mike Martin, defensive tackle, Tennessee. I know you like this kid, John Mohamed Sanu, the slot receiver from Rutgers to the Bengals. Bernard Pierce, running back, Temple, an interesting player, Ravens. Dwight Bentley, quarterback, Louisiana Lafayette to Detroit. So let's start with Mel.
Yeah, Mike Martin, the defensive tackle from Michigan. I tell you, we watch this guy a lot of time. We go through, we talk about college football every Saturday throughout the year. The guy was one of our favorite players. The guy that made plays, consistent, like the wrestling background for a defensive tackle, understands leverage, quick hands. You talk about a guy who uses his hands well, gets off blocks because of that. He's been in that middle. He's going up in practice against David Moak, a senior center who could be a late-round possibility in this draft. Production solid, 36 reps, strong in the upper body, powerful lower body as well. I like Mike Martin. All the kid did was go out and make plays. He knew he was going to be double-teamed. He knew he had to battle through that, and all that experience against Moak in practice. They had some fierce, competitive battles. Helped this kid. He was on a bad defense. He was the best player. Defense got better. He was still out there producing, Todd. I like Mike Martin. I think this is a nice third-round pick for the Tennessee Titans.
I call him Grunt. He's one of the all-time grunts. Just shows up every single day to work, does a great job fighting through double teams, and I think he's going to be a good player for the Titans.
I like this Mohamed Sanu that the Bengals just picked up. Cincinnati needs a receiver desperately, and Sanu, the all-time leading receiver in the Big East, can really help them. Did not run real fast at the combine. I think it scared some people, but over 115 catches this year. He works inside in the slot. He works outside. He's a factor in the red zone. He's okay after the catch. How about this catch right here, Mel? He's a wildcat quarterback. He's tough, instinctive. He will block. This is a very good football player. I like what Cincinnati's done in this draft.
Extremely smart, John. That's one thing. Super smart, Mohamed Sanu. Versatile, you see what he can do there. They said he knows the offense better than a lot of quarterbacks do. And once he ran that 4.5, Todd and John, that really helped him. That put any doubt about speed, separation, quickness, NFL ability. Once he ran that 4.5, and people forget, he's a big guy. He's not a little receiver. This is a big kid who can catch the football. Phenomenal hands.
The next player, Bernard Pierce, a running back from Temple. I think he's one of the more underrated running backs in this year's class. He reminds me, I'm not saying he's Arian Foster. I'm not going to go that far, but I do think his running style is a little bit similar. He's got big back. He does run a little bit too upright, but he's got lateral agility. And I like the way he can make that one cut and go. He also breaks a lot of tackles. Can catch the football out of the backfield pretty well, but he can continue to improve in that area, become more natural catching the ball. But for the Baltimore Ravens and what they like to do with their power run game, and with Ray Rice, he's not young anymore, and he's taken a beating over his career. So bringing in a young back like Pierce to take some of the load off him, I think it's a really smart pick by the Baltimore Ravens.
One thing he's got to work on, improve his natural pass receiving skills, his hands. Suspect right now.
Yep.
Right now he's a little one-dimensional as a runner, but a real good runner, Todd. Catching the football is not his forte. We look at defensive backs that have come off the board in this third round. The Detroit Lions, we said, they got a big need. They got to start drafting some defensive players. Please, Jim Schwartz, draft somebody to stop somebody on that side of the ball. They did with Dwight Bill Bentley out of Louisiana Lafayette, a kid who really did a good job for this program in that secondary. You saw him early in the year against Brandon Wheaton in Oklahoma State, had a couple picks in that game, made a couple hits, part of a 6-tackle performance early in the year that kind of got the NFL's attention in that football game. 3 interceptions when he was a young sophomore, 3 interceptions this past year, 4.37 40, real quick feet. Good turning motion, good quick feet. Overall, you look at a guy who can make some plays. 5'10", 181 pounds, maybe the nickel, maybe the dime back, but in this league, you need multiple cover guys. The Detroit Lions, this is a big need going into the draft for them, Todd.
You know, he played with Janoris Jenkins in high school at Pahokee High. Try throwing on those two. Janoris Jenkins and Dwight Bentley in the same backfield as a high school quarterback. How do you beat that?
You don't.
You don't.
All right, we got Mohamed Sanu, who you love. We met a couple weeks ago. You're raving about him. He's been drafted. Adam Schefter, what more can you add?
Boom, there was a hint of this to come yesterday. Actually, Mohamed Sanu got what he thought was a call from the Cincinnati Bengals in the first round of the draft telling him that the Bengals were picking him. He called his agent and told him. His agent, Mike McCartney, tweeted the news. Sanu to the Bengals. Only it turned out that a Rutgers student somehow got Sanu's phone number, called and made a prank call to Sanu, and the Bengals had not taken Sanu. Well, fast forward to today, and Sanu did go with the 83rd pick to the Cincinnati Bengals. He actually got the call yesterday. It turned into reality today. And one other wide receiver note, Boom, DeVere Posey went to the Houston Texans with the 68th overall pick, the wide receiver from Ohio State. That means that Houston was able to add a wide receiver, and the Texans now will look to deal veteran wide receiver Jacoby Jones elsewhere in the NFL. We'll be back with the closing picks in the third round from Radio City Music Hall here in New York, the 2012 NFL Draft. The final picks in the third round coming up.
The left lane is a club, clearly defined by a dashed line and a heavy right foot. If you are unsure if you belong in the club, you do not belong in the club. To apply for membership, try new, stronger STP Complete Fuel System Cleaner with 10 times the cleaning agents to wipe out engine deposits, and enjoy the benefits of the left lane.
In the final round,
the audience choice ingredient?
Bud Light.
And here we go.
Looks like Chef Dubois is emulsifying the Bud Light into a foam. What's his competitor doing?
He appears to be having a really good time.
A Bud Light reduction for Dubois. And his opponent?
Also improvising nicely. Let's see that again.
Judges.
I like the use of the pressure cooker to tenderize the beef.
But also the use of the cell phone to order the pizza.
It's the sure sign of a good time. It's just right taste of Bud Light. Here we go.
Sorry, Chef, we're gonna need more ingredient.
Unleash the chaos. New X Anarchy. For him.
And for her.
Pizza Hut never stops striving to bring you delicious pizza creations. That's why we surrounded the Cheesy Bites pizza with 28 cheese-filled bites to pull, dip, and pop. Get a large one topping for just $11.99, only at your Pizza Hut. Make it great.
With MyLowe's, you can set reminders to keep your home looking great this spring. Sign up at Lowe's.com. Lowe's, never stop improving.
Want a chance to live like a millionaire? This year, take your game to the next level with NFL.com Fantasy. You could win $1 million, and victory will never be so sweet. You could win $1 million playing the new fantasy game from the NFL. For more, go to NFL.com/fantasy.
Welcome back to New York, and there you see some of the fans enjoying night 2 of the NFL Draft from the Bud Light Fan Zone here in the Radio City Music Hall, where we're getting toward the end of round 2. We'll get you caught up here. We told you Detroit picked a defender in Bentley. Pittsburgh, outside linebacker Sean Spence. The Cleveland Browns take a defensive tackle from downstate of the Bearcats of Cincinnati, John Hughes. Hello, Nick Foles, quarterback, deep ball to Philadelphia. And Akeem Hicks, Regina, playing football up in Canada, is the Saints' first pick. So why don't we start with him, the first pick we've had from the Saints in this draft.
Very interesting player. I liked him through the process. Thought he could be a third